Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
Before we get started here today, I just want to thank all the veterans. I'm sure I speak for Greg and everybody else who is working on this live stream right now. Thank you for your service. Thank you for doing something that I probably would not have the guts to serve my country. Appreciate it. You are the reason why we have the freedom that we have. So thank you so much on this Veterans Day. He's Greg, I'm Nick, and we are part of the CLNS Media Network. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Greg, I read your post-game report. I think I know what you're going to say here, but what was your biggest takeaway from that Tampa game?
I'm a believer. I'm all in. And I don't think it was really specific to that game because, after reviewing the film, I thought Baker Mayfield left a lot of plays on the field, and we know the current status of the Bucs. Like the Bucs that we see probably by the end of the season and going into the playoffs, like that team is going to be legit. Like that, the defense is really good. So I felt good about the offensive performance, but I don't know. It's just something about, being there. I know, I'm sure there'll be a minority of people who would say it wasn't an overly impressive win against a Bucs team without, Evans, Godwin, McMillan, Reddick, all that stuff. But I just came away thinking, being there, that I think the Patriots just played the game how it needed to be played. Like if the Bucs were fully staffed, if they had all their guys, I think the Patriots would have played that game much differently. And I still think they would have won. I think they went into this game knowing, this Baker and this offense right now, the way they are, no Bucky Irving either. They're not going to outscore us, or, we're not worried about them, running away from us or anything like that. So I think they played it a certain way offensively and defensively. And, Drake Maye doing Drake Maye things with 4 absurdly elite plays. And then you hit the 3 big plays. I mean, if you took out the big plays, which, everybody always says that.
Easy, Gerard Mayo. Calm down.
But the offense was pretty sketchy. Other than those, handful of plays, which is most NFL games. But again, I think they played it how they needed to play it. If they needed to get into a track meet, I think they would have gotten into a track meet. I think they would have won. I'm a believer. I surrender. The Patriots, they are capable of doing anything this season, and that includes going to a Super Bowl. Now, winning a Super Bowl, I don't know. That depends on matchup, health, all that stuff. But are they Super Bowl contenders in the AFC after this game? Yes. I mean, you could say whatever you want about the Buccaneers and where they are right now, but that is a tough place to play. The weather was crappy. The Bucs made some plays. The Patriots made some plays for the other team. I'm a believer. I surrender.
This is big news.
I'm done putting caveats on anything.
This is significant news, folks, on this Tuesday, November 11, 2025. Greg Bedard officially waving the white flag of, no longer being resistant to the idea that the Patriots are a good football team and have a chance to make a little bit of a run this year. This is big news. It's significant news, and it should make every Patriots fan happy that the wet blanket is not being so much a wet blanket. And Noah says, I love you guys. Always great analysis and honest critiques. New England, lucky to have you all. Thank you, Noah. We appreciate the kind words. All right, so you're a believer in this football team, which means you have to be a believer in Mike Vrabel. However, Greg Bedard.
Yeah.
What'd you make of the 1st and goal approach? Because, listen, I know that Drake Maye came out in the post game and said he was trying to score. I know Mike Vrabel, Dikembe Mutombo'd a couple of questions in the post game, giving you the no. I'm not going to answer that question directly. I watched the game over yesterday morning. I broke out Greg Bedard's all 22, sat down and watched the game. And Drake Maye's full of crap. I love you, Drake. I love you, Drake. But there's no chance on God's green earth he was trying to score on that play. I watched it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times after watching it a couple of times in real time on Sunday. He gives no effort. There's no driving of the legs. He just kind of flops like a fish to the side. Kyrie's Tonga is not trying to block anybody. He's just kind of running around like, here I am. I'm Kyrie's Tonga. So my belief, and I would have to imagine you agree with this, that was 100% intentional. With that said, did you like it? Did you dislike it?
So I didn't mind it. Okay. I was fine with everything up until the 4th down call. Like at that point, I was like, it was like the soup Nazi. Like, you're pushing your luck, little man. Like, it was like, I understand what they did. Okay. And as a guy who loves sort of being like inside the game and pushing different buttons and finding an edge and all that stuff, I loved it. I didn't mind it. However, against that team and largely the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line pretty much kicked the ass of the Patriots in that game. Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby, those guys, Vita Vea especially. I mean, it was just wrecking people. Now, I will say, Michael Wenu had a pretty good game. Morgan Moses was decent, but they were largely kicking the Patriots can up front. And I think that they were really, really tempting fate. I'm not one of these like old school guys that's steadfast in like, you don't want to piss off the football gods. But and I think Vrabel not answering the question, I asked him, then Tara Sullivan asked a direct follow-up and he wouldn't answer it. And to me, that's a tell, because Mike Vrabel's he's not a liar. Like, he's not going to outright lie to our face. He's just not going to answer the question. And so that's why he didn't answer it. And Drake probably going to confession or something, after that, because I think he was definitely lying. So basically my answer is I didn't mind it, but I think if I was in the position of Vrabel, I would have been like, after the next 2 downs where they get stuffed, I would have been like, all right, I flicked my finger in the football god's face. They answered. They're trying to tell me something. I'm just going to take the points, move on. We get the ball to start the second half. Like, 10 points, double score is pretty damn good. So I'm going to take that. But Mike Vrabel, because this is the way this season has gone, everything is coming up Vrabel and the Patriots, that even when they do something like that and really shouldn't be going forward on 4th down, of course they go for it. And of course, Drake Maye makes a perfect pass. Of course, Stephon Diggs makes a ridiculous catch in the end zone, and it works out for them. And so I didn't mind sitting on the ball, but the field, not taking the field goal and going for the touchdown on the final play, man, they were pushing their luck there, but came up Vrabel and the Patriots again.
I liked it in real time. In hindsight, I love it. And I'll tell you why. Number one, Mike Vrabel remains consistent. From game number one, from moment number one, he has been uber aggressive. He has trusted McDaniels. He has trusted May. He has trusted his guys to make plays when they have to have those kinds of plays, right? The 4th down aggressiveness. And if you're going to be aggressive, then going for it on 4th and goal, that's the ultimate aggressive move. I don't know if you've seen the Patriots video that came out, Greg, but there's a conversation between Carlton Davis and I forget who the other person is, damn it. But there's a conversation on the sidelines right before the 4th and goal. And whoever's talking to Carlton Davis says, would you go for it or do you kick? And Davis looks him right in the eye and says, go for it. And then the other guy says, absolutely go out swinging. And that's the mentality of this football team. That is the identity of this football team. Mike Vrabel knows they're not as talented as other teams. They're going to be aggressive when they think the time is right. And sometimes it's going to backfire. It's the comment that Vrabel made in the postgame saying, look, you got to push your chips into the pot, into the middle every once in a while. Like you've got to commit yourself. And I thought the other reason why you go for it on fourth down is because you want to give your offense a chance. If once you make the decision, I believe you already have made the decision. If you're Mike Vrabel, and there's no doubt in my mind that he went through this with Stretch, and they had this conversation through the headsets, and they knew exactly how they were going to do this. Because once you decide that you're going to flop like a fish on first down, you almost have to go in on fourth down because you're telling your offense, no, I'm going to give you your 3 shots. I'm taking one away from you, but you're going to have 3 plays to make a statement before the end of this half. And so I think that decision was made before the first down decision. I think Vrabel said we're at like the 1 yard line. We're going 4 times. We're going 4 times unless we lose yards. Now, if Drake fumbles the football, if Henderson gets driven back a few yards, maybe the math changes. Maybe the calculation is different. But I believe Vrabel looking at that said, we're going on fourth down. If we're going to give up first down and we don't get it on second and third, we're going on fourth. Be damned. And if we don't get it, we don't get it. But we're going to die on our sword because that's what we've done this year. We're pushing it and we're being aggressive. So I loved it because it's been consistent. I loved it because it's also just strategically elite. And even if it doesn't work out for you, just the fact that your coaching staff is thinking on that kind of level. When Mike Vrabel was hired, Greg, you and I talked about the details and how this guy is so detailed and how he and Stretch do things that other coaches don't do. We saw it against Belichick in the playoff game. They love the rule book. They love trying to find ways. And I just thought that was the ultimate example. That is the Mike Vrabel example right there that I've kind of been waiting for. Now, the one thing I would say before I kick it back to you about Drake Maye, I would have at least tried to throw on second or third down. I thought once you give up a down, I would have been a little bit more aggressive with the play calling because the defensive line is really good for Tampa. They're really good in short yardage, and the back-to-back runs into a brick wall, not great. But Drake Maye comes through on fourth down. Stephon Diggs comes through on fourth down.
Let me ask you this. So you think it was – how much of it do you think it was what you talked about, Mike Vrabel's mentality, how, the team and like all that stuff? But how much do you think Vrabel's like own ego factored into it? Because I think that factored in that, like when he decided to give up a down, I think he was pot committed. Like I think he –
yes.
And I think the players bailed him out, which, long term, that's good for the Patriots.
You could look at it as ego, certainly. I would describe it as just putting your junk on the table. That, and that's what Vrabel is. Like Vrabel's going to go in, he's going to say, guys, this is what we're doing. And we're going to go down with the building. If this thing flames out, we're going down in flames. But I am committed to this. And I think that gives the team confidence. It gives the quarterback confidence. It gives Josh McDaniels confidence. It's, Vrabel walking into the room saying, guys, I trust you. I trust you against a very good defense. And because I trust you and because I believe in what we're doing here and because I believe with our philosophy, which is being aggressive on offense because we have to be, because of all of that, Vrabel's a big, build it kind of guy, right? And that's why we talked about him building a culture, Greg. And all the stuff that Mike Vrabel has done through the first 9 weeks kind of led to that moment. All the fourth down decisions, all the talks with May, all the trust in McDaniels, all the belief in these guys to be able to come up with the big play when they need it. And that was kind of the ultimate, well, there you have it. I'm going to trust you. This is the biggest game we've had yet. We're on the road. If we get stuffed, Tampa's going into that locker room with their ass on fire. We're down by a field goal. Who knows what happens? But, I thought that was a Vrabel moment. And if it backfired, I think
soaking it up, baby.
I'm just telling you, if it backfired, I think Vrabel goes into the room and says, guys, that's on me. That's on me. But we're going to come back in the second half. We're going to figure this thing out. We get the football to start the second half. We're going to go down. We're going to score. But I just think, and the reason why I brought up the video with the sidelines is because I think that's seeping through the team, Greg. Like I read your column and you touched on it a little bit at the beginning of like, there's just a different feeling in the room. And I think these guys just ultimately believe. They believe in themselves and they believe in the coaching staff. And that was the ultimate example. All right, Drake Maye, his performance against likely the toughest defense that he has faced. You mentioned a number of just elite plays. Break it down for us, second-year quarterback.
So, I thought he was really good in this game. Again, this was another game where, throwing the ball wise, like I only had him for 2 minus plays. There was a throw. I can't tell in my notes if it was the throw was to Hunter Henry and I have a decision there, or he threw it to somebody else and Hunter Henry was open. I think I don't have my notes, but I think I know exactly the play you're talking about. Hunter Henry, I believe, was wide open down the seam for a huge play.
Yeah. And he didn't hit him.
Yeah, and also, what's interesting, that third down play, which was great, where they showed up that they beat the blitz when, like, I think it was 98 dropped out and tried to cover Pop Douglas, and he goes to Pop Douglas on like third down, and he gets 16 yards. Hunter Henry was wide freaking open, like right, nobody was on him at all. But I mean, it worked out because this is the season that the Patriots have. Any other team, Drake Maye's throwing that ball to 98 and it's getting picked off while Hunter Henry's wide open. But like, it's amazing. And the other thing was the interception. I mean, the interception it's supposed to be like a little pop seam pass to Mac Hollins, like almost immediately, like 1-2, boom, like back end line, throw it up. For whatever reason, Drake Maye didn't throw it there, then extends it, and like, dude, just throw it away. And on that same drive, the hit along the sideline, I did not have a problem with the hit. I thought that Maye was in bounds.
I agree.
He got hit. He got hit in the head neck area, but at that point, outside of the pocket, he doesn't have protection. He is a runner. Unless the guy totally spears him, like puts his helmet down, it's not a penalty. And I think on this podcast, I sort of warned about this, that at some point in time, you're going to get a situation where you're playing some team and you could be playing like the going nowhere Jets on Thursday night, where, now because they've traded people, they're down to like their third linebacker or third safety. And some guy just hits them like along the sideline, out of bounds, doesn't really care. In that situation where the Bucs were, even if you get flagged, it's only half the distance to the goal line. So why not do it? So those are the type of hits that I'm worried about with Drake. But outside of that, I mean, there was a little issue. So I had him marked down. I had 1 sack, 3.5 hits on Maye, including that play where he got killed. And, that was it. But like, the throw to Kyle Williams on the touchdown was absurd. So basically what happened, he checked into the play. For some reason, the Bucs keep doing this, and I know the Bucs writers are getting frustrated. So Jamel Dean is normally the right cornerback for the Bucs. For whatever reason, he's PFF's number 1 cornerback. I don't see it, but whatever. But I don't think he plays man very well. So, and they bring in this rookie.
You watch your mouth. You watch your mouth. That rookie's from Notre Dame, Greg. He was one of the best corners in college football before he got a major injury. Okay, you watch it.
Okay. Well, I will say, I don't know if
Ben Morrison, by the way, is his name. Ben Morrison.
What's his name?
Benjamin Morrison.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. So that kid comes in, and on the first play, I don't know if it's because they saw him. I don't know if they bring him in to play a little bit more man coverage, because I don't think Dean is great in man coverage. But Maye checks the play, and he's going to go to Mac Hollins. They're running like crossers. Like Mac's got the little deeper crosser. Kyle Williams has the low crosser. And Drake Maye is like ready to throw to Mac Hollins, who's open and probably be a good like 15, 20-yard gain. His feet are pointing that way. But for whatever reason, Drake Maye says, Nope, I'm going to throw flat-footed across the field, touch pass over the top. Kyle Williams catches it off to the races. Unbelievable. We talked about the Diggs touchdown. Unreal. The 3rd and 7 play to Mac Hollins, where Vita Vea is like in his face and he avoids people and finds it. Ridiculous play. But I got to tell you, the 54-yard pass to Mac Hollins, I'll freely admit this. It was a pants off play for me. Like, I mean, live, I had a great view of it live. Kyle Williams play too, but watching it on film, Drake Maye throws it. He's about to get hit. Mac Hollins isn't even open. He throws it with anticipation, leads them like 10, 15 yards. I was just like, oh. That was sensational. I mean, that was incredible. It really was. I gotta hand it to him. I mean, he stood in there. Bulls tried his, Jedi mind trick stuff, dropping like 4 or 5 guys all along the line about 10 yards out. You aren't sure what they're gonna do. He did a pretty nice job deciphering all that stuff. He had to hold on to the ball for an extra, half a beat or two, and he took some punishment because of it. I will say one thing in this game, Nick, that I do wonder if teams are going to borrow from. The Bucs played a lot of drop 8 coverage in this game. 7 times they did that, where they only rushed 3 and they dropped 8, and they kind of had a hard time with it. So this is something that the Patriots used to do with Josh Allen before Josh Allen was able to decipher all that stuff. So it's not like I think like Drake Maye is going to have a big problem with it. Knowing him,
right.
He saw it in one game. He's probably studying it this week. And if the Jets do it, he's probably going to kill him this week. So, but just one little note to see if that comes up going forward, especially against the better defenses, playoff games, like all that stuff.
I thought his pocket awareness was better this game than last week. I thought there were signs of improvement there. The anticipatory throws, you mentioned it. I mean, I tweeted out at Nick C Radio. If you want to follow me, I also talked about it on Locked On Patriots. Let me just shoehorn all my promotion here. That touchdown throw to Diggs, I had 4 screenshots of that play. Right when Drake is like making the decision to throw the football, right before he uncorks it, and then 3 more still shots as the ball gets to Diggs. That throw's ridiculous. And he actually it looked like he had Hunter Henry for
Hunter
much
Henry
easier.
was a much easier throw. I mean, he's
yeah. And again, so like 3 or 4 times in this game, it's like, it looks like he has something easier, but he's like, nah, I'm just going to do something elite. And that's the difference, right? I don't know about your scoring methodology, Greg. I think we end up being pretty close, but I'm much newer to this than you are. I had 11 plus plays and 8 minus plays. I don't know what you finished with, but people might sit there and say, oh, well, that's only 3 more plus plays than minus plays. But to me, the difference is that the plus plays are like plus plays. Yeah. Like
I might need to change my scoring methodology with Maye, because yes, he makes plays that, like, say when I was covering Mac Jones, like I'd be like, well, that's a so I give him a plus play, and then I have a plus, for like those 4 plays. So I have Maye for 7 total plus plays, and then including 4 plus plays. So I add another 2 to that. It's a half a point, but I might need to go more. Because he's screwing up. He's thrown off the curve because I can't grade him like other quarterbacks. And this includes Brady. I mean, my methodology worked very consistently for from Brady to, Cam Newton and Mac Jones, but now Maye's throwing it off, and I had him for 7 minus plays, but only 1 double minus play, the interception. So he definitely scored. He's back on the plus side for me, but like I said, he's throwing everything off. I gotta reevaluate everything.
Yeah, man. And when we talk about Drake, man, before the draft, the whole thing was like, well, everybody said, well, he's got a higher floor, but his ceiling, right? His ceiling, because of his lack of experience, there are some throws at North Carolina that this young man makes that other people just can't make. There aren't many dudes who can make those types of throws. And that's what we saw on Sunday. So again, he might be barely edging out the minus plays with, 2 or 3 plus plays more than minus. But those plus plays, the pop play, the 2 Hollins plays, the Kyle Williams touchdown, the Diggs touchdown, and again, the degree of difficulty, the moment there were 3 or 4 third downs. The Mac Hollins play was on a 3rd and 7, the one that he got away from Vea. The bucket throw was a 3rd and 14.
3rd and 14.
I believe the Pop Douglas play was also a third down. So it's like these high leverage situations against a really good defense, and you come through with those types of elite plays. It's just like, and that's why you live with the pick, because the pick will drive you crazy and it's frustrating, but what are you going to do? The dude has 4 or 5 elite plays and he has one, what the hell, that was a big mistake play. And you just got to kind of live with it. And I think we're all learning that, because Brady didn't have those kind of what the hell was he doing moments. And so, but he also wasn't giving you as many of these holy crap, I can't believe, he just did that early in his career, especially. So I think we kind of got to balance it all. It's difficult because there are going to be some things. And I agree with you. I tweeted out, and I had a couple of people say, that it was going to be a tight window. I disagree. That interception in the end zone, he did have Mac Hollins open, as Greg said. It was a fake screen to Diggs. They ran a bunch formation on the left, and Josh McDaniels dialed up a perfect call because Drake pumps it to Stephon Diggs, and the reaction that the Patriots want is for the guys that are playing at the goal line, playing Diggs and Hollins, they want those guys to suck in, to buy into the screen to Diggs. So Diggs is late motion, the fake screen, those guys pull in. They do exactly what McDaniels and Maye want them to do. And Hollins is right there for the quick pass. And if Drake puts a little bit of air underneath it and throws it, away from the safety's about 4 or 5 feet away. He ain't making that play. Antoine Winfield's a ball hawk. He ain't making that play. And for whatever reason, and Drake's looking at Hollins because Hollins is really the only option on that play. And he's looking at Hollins, but for whatever reason, he just decided to not throw it. And then he compounded that by throwing the pick in the end zone.
Just on that play real quick. That's a play. There was an interception that Maye threw. It might've been the Raiders game. It was early in the season. Remember where, he didn't throw it with touch. He threw it flat and got picked off.
It was the batted pass that ended up being a pick when Booty was open, and he said, I needed to put more in under it.
Right. Yeah. And even Vrabel, it would have been similar.
That was the Steelers game, right? That was a Steelers game.
Yeah. Steelers game. But that play, I think it's designed to fake it and then boom. I know people are saying be a tight window. Yeah. If you throw it flat, I don't think the ball's designed to go flat between defenders. I think that's why you have Mac Hollins there. He's 6'5". I think it's supposed to be a pump, boom to the back line. Hollins catches it, toe tap. That's the way it's supposed to be, where it's just Hollins or nobody. And maybe I think Drake, because Drake does this sometimes, and we see it. Sometimes he sort of he kind of blacks out. He makes some decisions where he's just he just kind of blacks out a little bit. And I think he had a brain fart where I think he forgot how he was supposed to throw that pass, and then just second
it was too late.
And then
I totally agree with you. I think that's supposed to be kind of high pointed, kind of floated up and away from the safety, and let Mac Hollins kind of turn his body almost like a back shoulder kind of soft throw away from the safety, and Mac adjusts and he keeps his feet down and you got a touchdown there. But for whatever reason, Drake decided not to do it. And then, like I said, he kind of compounded the mistake. Not kind of, he did, by throwing the interception in the red zone, which was a really good play by the safety, but it really wasn't there. And, live to see another day, throw it out of bounds. But again, I'll live with it because the dude drops 4 or 5 elite plays on your face. So I'll deal with it. All right, we got a few more things to get to, but Greg wants to first talk about PrizePicks.
You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. I had the app out last night for a very forgettable Monday Night Football game. What a letdown between the Eagles and the Packers. So yeah, I got wiped out just like everybody else, but it was still fun rooting for my picks. I don't know where AJ Brown was. Apparently he didn't play that game. But PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less in at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Drake Maye's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Of course you do, because you're as pants off as I am about Drake Maye. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right.
Has there ever been as slow of a drip of somebody that is just no doubt leaving the program within the next year or two than AJ Brown?
Yeah.
I feel like the clock's been ticking on AJ Brown in Philadelphia since he got there. It's truly unbelievable. It really is. By the way, for those listening, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast, like and leave a review. For those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the Patriots Press Pass YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Patriots content. Also, please make sure to turn on your notifications so you know the instant a new video drops. And check out Greg and Mike Giardi at BSJ for $50 for the entire year. They do great stuff, obviously covering the Patriots. All right, we got to zip through a lot here because Greg's going to run to Felger and Maz. Offensive line play, Greg, I know you touched on this a little bit earlier. I was surprised some people thought that Will Campbell and Jared Wilson didn't play that badly on Sunday. I disagreed with them. I think you agree with me on that. Again, to go back to the plus and minus plays, I had Will Campbell as a -6 and a Jared Wilson as a -6. I thought Will Campbell had a tough second half. I thought he was okay, pretty even in the first half, but I thought he had a tough second half. I thought Jared Wilson had a tough second half, and I also thought Garrett Bradbury struggled in this game, especially in the first half against the bigger interior. Onwenu and Moses, I thought pretty good. I thought they were okay. What'd you see from Will Campbell and Jared Wilson specifically?
Yeah, same thing. I thought Will had a tough time with Yaya Diaby. A couple times, Vita Vea came on his side. I think that the Patriots really benefited by Hassan Reddick not being in this game. If he's on the other side of Diaby and Vita Vea in this game, I think the Patriots have a really rough time on offense. I didn't think there was much in the run game. I mean, they had the 2 big runs, and we all saw them. I don't know how I will say, before I say what I'm going to say about Henderson's first touchdown run, I will say Will Campbell got blatantly held on the 3rd down play on the goal line. Like, that should have been a touchdown, but Will Campbell got totally grabbed.
I thought Jared Wilson held on that play actually too.
Did you? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I will say the first Henderson run, because I'm watching the play and I'm watching the replay. I'm there live, and I'm like, wait a minute. How did Mac Hollins block a guy that he lost leverage against, that is right there to make the how did he make that block? Because that was the key block on the play, even though Morgan Moses did a tremendous job on that play. Man, Mac Hollins held that safety. I mean, he grabbed his right here and yanked. The guy wanted the call. There was no call. I will say, it sure looked to me like both teams went into this game knowing that this crew does not call many holding penalties, because there was a lot of holding. Defensive line holding offensive line and vice versa. So there was that. And then the Henderson, the other touchdown, the last one, where, yes, I think he should have slid down and kneeled out the game, but, whatever. It wasn't really going to make any difference either way. I thought that Will Campbell made a really good block. Of course, Kyrus Tonga made a really good block on that. Kyrus Tonga also had a nice block on a 4th and 1 run. where he was just
Tonga's
pinballing
awesome.
people.
Tonga's just awesome.
I can't wait. I mean, if you think I was pants off about that throw to Mac Hollins, wait until Kyrus Tonga is like tackle eligible, or like, they fake the belly to him and then like pop pass for like a touchdown. Like I might run down at Gillette and jump into the pile. But I will say there was a funny moment, and I wrote this in my column. You were referring to it earlier about the vibes on this team. And first of all, Kyrus Tonga hates, because I've gone up and talked to him and pumped his tires, and Reese has done it too in the locker room. And Kyrus just he doesn't want to hear it. He's just very shy, and he's just he doesn't want to hear it. Kayla Chason comes out of the shower, and he's just like, Tonga, you don't play offense, you play defense. And Tonga's just shaking his head, and he's like, I see him out there getting into the celebration with the what the hell, man, you play defense. It was just a funny moment. But I thought the running game was rough in this game outside of the two, the three big ones. I was looking at it. Henderson's carries 16, 0, 1, 5, 0, 0, 55, 2, 1, 3, 3-yard reception, -2, -4, 1, 69. So to anticipate a question, no, I don't think Travion Henderson earned any sort of bigger role in this game. I still want to pass the ball to him in space. I had him for another pressure in this game, and that's going to be part of the evaluation with him.
I agree. With the pass protection, he did lose another battle there. By the way, can we just shout out Mac Hollins, because not only, according to Greg, did he hold on that first touchdown run, he also, I went back and I watched this probably 15 times on the all 22 rewatch. The quickest celebration I've ever seen somebody have on the football. He literally, the block / hold, according to Greg. I honestly have to go back and see it. I didn't catch it the first time around. But whatever happens with Hollins, the hold, whatever, it happens, and literally Hollins starts to raise up the peace sign when Henderson is at the 47-yard line. He's at the 47, and Hollins is already deuces. He's gone, touchdown, and he starts Mac Hollins has celebration swag. He starts high stepping down the field with the deuces up and kind of popping his neck. But don't get it twisted. Also look on the sidelines, because my guy Todd Downing, who I have said is an incredible celebrator. If you watch when a big play happens, look for a red sweater, because that's usually what Todd Downing's wearing, and watch. The man is electric. He's electric on the sidelines. And you can see Downing kind of behind Henderson, pumping his fists.
I mean, I gotta say, if I'm Todd Downing, in film review, I'm like, Mac Hollins, you just stole my move. That's my move. The high step along the sideline. It's well established. Go back and watch the other films. There he is, high stepping, even when the defense does stuff, it's yes.
The guy is electric. He is awesome. I'd love to take him to a game. He'd be the guy in the 230s, just screaming, drinking beer, going crazy.
Definitely getting into a fight with the opposing fans.
Yeah, probably, most likely. The Kayshawn, I remember Kayshawn Booty's the third down conversion that finished. I don't know what game it was, but that was one where he kind of high stepped towards Booty, and he's running and All right, let's get to the defense quickly. Were you surprised that Tampa was able to run as well as they were able to run?
A little bit. I was fine for the most part. I will say I thought Baker left a lot of plays on the field. Of course, I had the Bucs for 4 pretty key drops in this game. Baker had a couple of accuracy issues. He also wasn't seeing the field. I mean, it's basically, it's Egbuka and Kate Otten. That's all he's really looking for. I mean, Rashad White sometimes was wide open. I don't know what he did to offend Baker Mayfield. It's sort of like Drake Maye and his lack of checkdowns. Those guys just don't want to do it. They don't want to check it down. But I thought the running game, for the most part, I'm looking at it, So I have Barmore for a couple of run gaps. Chase on
2 straight weeks, by the
tackle.
way.
Yeah.
Barmore, 2 straight weeks. He has not been very good. I don't know if it's an injury thing. I know the back came up during this game, but Christian Barmore now back-to-back weeks where he has not looked the same.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he went from scoring off the charts for me like every game since probably week 1. He's been like a +5 or a +6 for me every week, and the last 2 weeks have been negatives. Anthony Jennings had a run edge. Durden had a run gap. Spillane, who I didn't think he had a run gap for 12 yards. I thought Jack Gibbons was really good in this game. It was fine. Milton Williams was a beast. I don't know what they would do without that guy. He has been incredible.
Yeah.
I say it every week, and I'm waiting for the guy to get tired, but they're chasing down plays from behind.
I know the exact play you're talking about. I mean, the dude his TikTok is off the charts. His motor is incredible. He doesn't give up on anything. The one thing I will say that
there was something I was going to say about the defense. I wanted to talk about, real quick. I wanted to talk about the Ibuka touchdown. Okay, and also let's talk about 3rd and 4th down. Woodson and then the sack, sort of sack, whatever, on 4th and 3. So the Ibuka touchdown. There's a coverage bust, and it looks like it looks like the Patriots played an inverted cover 2, and Christian Gonzalez is the only one playing man coverage, and I think he was supposed to be in the zone on that side of the field, but he busted it. Now, the Craig Woodson play, first of all, phenomenal play by Craig Woodson, that he read that as what appears to be being the deep safety. Like you'd never see in Devin McCourty's days, as good as he wasn't, if he was asked to be the deep safety, he's not coming up to make that play. He is him or Duron Harmon. If they're the robber on that play, that's what they do. Now, I will say on that play, I can't tell what coverage they're in. And I'm asking people in the building, they are being very coy about it. They won't totally help me. They did tell me, so if people want to fit the pieces, I was told that there is a coverage bust on that play. And I offered up a couple names. One they shot down, said no. Then I brought up another name, said can't help you because that's one of our sort of trick plays, what have you. So I think it is inverted cover 2. Again, my guess is Marcus Jones busted it because I think he's supposed to stay over the top. That's a play. If Baker Mayfield goes to Sterling Shepard on that play, Marcus Jones is getting turned around. It's a touchdown. But Baker decides to go to K-Dot, and great read by Woodson. I mean, that he started to break before Baker even started to throw the ball there, separates him. That was awesome. And I put it wasn't so much on the final play, the 4th and 3, it wasn't so much the play call to me that it was sort of an all-out blitz, even though Spillane was more of a spy. To me, it was just Milton Williams setting up K'Lavon Chase on a game and then beating up, Michael Jordan, former Patriot, who is not good at football.
One more quick note before we get to the good bad of the player breakdowns. I did think that the Patriots did a good job of kind of keeping the Mayfield magic at a minimum. And, Mayfield, one of the touchdowns on the back end there, I think it was the last touchdown for Tampa. I thought Craig Woodson had good coverage. It was a pretty awesome throw by Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But that play was, that there was a play that was also extended for like 7 seconds. Might have been a different touchdown because I think they beat Davis on that play. But it was like that's what Mayfield does. He extends plays for like 6, 7, 8 seconds, and your guys aren't going to cover for that long, for the love of God. And I thought the Patriots were really disciplined for the most part against Mayfield's ability to kind of break, contain, run around like Wile E. Coyote. And they also did not allow him to scramble, which is huge. If you watch any Tampa Bay Bucks game, Baker, it feels like, has at least 2 or 3 back-breaking scrambles where it's, 3rd and 8 and he runs for 15 or he runs for 20, and it's like, oh my God, he extends the drive and he finds a way to get into the end zone. And there was one specific play. It was Caleb Chase on sack. It wasn't the play you were talking about where you had the blitz. It was earlier in the game. I thought Christian Gonzalez had great coverage on Emeka Egbuka. It was a 3rd and short. And Baker wants to go to Egbuka. Gonzalez shuts it down. And Chason gets like initial pressure, and Baker tries to get out and get to outside the tackle and run. And great job by Chason, who does not give up, relentless, and chases Baker down from the back and gets the sack. That's the type of play where it's like, a lot of times Baker will turn that into 15 and you're kicking yourself in the ass. So I thought the Patriots did a really good job of staying disciplined against Mayfield when he started to become a runner or thought about becoming a runner. All right. CLNS, don't forget the media network, behind the scenes content, Celtics All Access, NBA History Channel, of course, the Patriots Press Pass, Bruins Ringside as well, and our friends at PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All right. We started with the good last week. Let's start with the not so good this week, Greg. Who popped up that you thought did not play so well?
So thumbs down this week. Jack Westbrook.
Or Westover, either way.
Westover. I get his name. I want to call him Jake and like whatever. So sorry, bud.
It's because you complimented him in one of your columns. You actually gave him some love last week, and then it backfired.
Yeah. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury.
Yep.
Christian Barmore. Carlton Davis. Christian Gonzalez is like close. He had a couple really good plays. He had like 4 not so great plays, and that's basically it. On the
I had Gonzalez as a net neutral, like a 0, because he made. Yeah. You're right. He made some plays on 3rd down, some big plays on 3rd down, but he also gave up some plays. I'll throw a couple names in there as the not so good. Austin Hooper, before apparently he got a concussion, I did not think was very good in this game. I thought his run blocking, he missed a number of run blocks. Barmore I had down. I thought Marcus Jones also took a step back a little bit this week. He wasn't as good as he's been. So I would throw those couple of names out there. How about guys that you thought stood out?
Drake Maye. I'm not going to put Travion Henderson on the list.
Defiant Bedard.
Yeah, I'm not. Michael Wenu, Morgan Moses, Mac Hollins, Stephon Diggs, even though let's just say he made a business decision run blocking in the low red zone at one point where he could have rooted out the safety and said, nah, I'm good. So we got marked down on that. Where I'm doing the good, right? Yeah, good. Milton Williams, Caleb Chason, Jack Gibbons, and I'm going to say Craig Woodson. The TD, yes. I don't really put on him. Like I said, it was a garbage time. It was a perfect throw, but that pass breakup against K. Otton, that was elite.
I'll give you some other names here. I thought Kyle Williams, and not just because of his touchdown. I thought he actually made 1 or 2 blocks downfield, which were good. So I'll give Kyle Williams some love. I can't believe that you didn't bring up Kyrie's Tonga. That is, I'm offended. Yeah. No, I'm offended. You can't take it back now. I'm offended.
Well, because I had Tonga. I don't just put Tonga, like I don't put his offensive pluses like with his defensive pluses. So it just looks like I have for 2 offensive pluses. I have him for 3 defensive pluses. So if that was all on one ledger, then yes, he'd be on it, but it's sort of split. So it's hard. You and
I are really close. I had Tonga +3 on offense, and I had him +3 on defense. So I had 1 more offense than you had. We had the same defense. So if you combine it offensively and defensively, I mean, my freaking goodness.
Yeah.
Tonga was like a +8 in this game. He's outrageous. He's freaking outrageous. Yes, Milton Williams, I will say that. Awesome. I also thought Harold Landry was pretty good. I thought Jalen Hawkins was pretty good, but I'm glad you brought up Craig Woodson, who I thought it looks like the game's slowing down a little bit for him. and he's starting to become much more comfortable. All right, he's Greg. I'm Nick. He's got to run. I got to go eat some lunch. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. I believe Greg will be doing a post game after Thursday Night Football, so we will be battling. I'll be doing Lockdown Patriots. Greg will be doing this podcast after the Jets game. So I think it's early next week, the next time Greg and I are together. Way too much information. I'm going to stop talking. Bye-bye.